Good morning, everyone. This is Servium calling. My name is Steve Dawes, and welcome to the final episode of our INOOT Season 3. I need one of those. So thank you, everyone, for taking the time out to join us today. As usual, the webinar will be recorded. We're using Zoom to broadcast today. And the webinar will be focusing on new innovative technology, things that are disruptive, groundbreaking, things that we can deliver, believe can deliver a business advantage to you as our customers. There will be a poll at the end, the opportunity to ask questions, and right at the end there will be the prize draw. So today I'm joined by Rob Breakspere from Dell. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Steve.
Thank you for joining. How are you keeping?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. So today Rob's going to focus on the sort of workplace, how it is now. Obviously, it's a different style of working during the current crisis, and technology really has had a huge hand in helping us through this and get through the best. So Rob's going to talk about that. So today, 24th of July. I always like to have a little look back on history. So what happened on this day? Well, in 1567, Mary, Queen of Scots, was forced to abdicate, and her one-year-old son, King James VI, became the King of Scots. In 1972, the infamous Ko Hiroyuki, the Japanese sumo wrestler, was born. 1977, Danny Dyer, the English actor, television presenter, was born. 1998, Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Hanks, Edward Burns and Matt Damon, was released. 2010, sadly, Alex Hurricane Higgins, the Northern Irish snooker player, born in 1949, died. And this year, today, would have been the Olympic opening ceremony in Tokyo, if it hadn't been for the current epidemic or pandemic. But more importantly, today is about INOOT. So let's give you all a little bit of background on Servium and how this is relevant to you today as we walk in your shoes as our customers, troubleshoot for you, understand what your requirements are, what your business challenges are. And we do that through a wide range of services and solutions. And I think by walking in your shoes, we really understand the challenges you face. We have an exceptional account management team, and we deliver great customer service as well. And to help us, we have our partners and our ecosystem, our services ecosystem, people like Dell Technologies and so on to help us deliver that. So when we work with you, our customers, we work through the complete life cycle. But more importantly to me, at the end of that life cycle is the review. Have we delivered to your expectations on time, within budget? So that's really, really important to us as a business. And the services we offer through our partners, tremendous breadth and depth that you have access to as our customers. And we've got that available. We're very transparent. And I think that is key to me, that when we provide services to you and subject matter experts like Rob is today, we're transparent on who we use and why we're using that particular expertise. And there's a raft of services that are available to you as our customers. And I do encourage you to have a look on our YouTube channel, maybe subscribe to it. There is a previous webinar dedicated to our services ecosystem. So today we're very much focused on our Pathfinder within the workspace. And Rob's now going to take us on that journey. So Rob, without further ado, I'll hand the floor to you. And I know at the end you'll talk a little bit about the sort of call to action that we have, that I think is could be some tremendous value to everyone watching today.
Yes, thanks, Steve. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're keeping well. My name is Rob Breakspere. I'm the client specialist at Dell. My role really is to support Servium, Steve, and the customers. So I'm here as a resource to really help end user customers embrace change and basically work smarter. So what I'm going to do today is just go through a number of slides around about workforce personas and the way that technology is changing. If you think about the workforce 5 years ago and where we were, it was very rigid, non-flexible. It was a one-size-fits-all predominantly. A lot of people were desk-based. Over the past 5 years, we've seen that really change. So more flexible working, people traveling more, people trying to access applications, security concerns. And certainly, if you think about what COVID-19 has done over the last probably 4 or 5 months, it's really accelerated that question of how can we as a company support and manage our employees, their expectations, and ultimately your end customers as well. It gets much harder as you have a workforce that work remotely and more bespoke. Collaboration becomes much harder. You're not under the same roof. So as an IT team within your organizations, you've got lots of challenges now that maybe you didn't have 4 to 5 years ago. And what we want to try and do with the workforce persona is to really help you manage those challenges and come out the other side. So the question that I would really ask all of you as we go through this presentation was, as an organization, how ready were you for such a monumental shift in the way that we have to work right now today? So you can make this slide move. There we go. So the question we have is, what if we could give our employees, our workforce, a personalized experience? What would it look like and what would it help us deliver? And if you think about it from a simplistic 4-point view, as we have here on the slide, if you look at the consumption of IT resources, if you think about the way you work today, you probably have many different types of products out there in your estate. You'll have different ways of having to manage those processes, those products. You'll have different ways of managing warranty, probably across 3 to 4 manufacturers, even more than that. So what if you could simplify that? What if you could have a single supplier, a single throat to choke, really, if you like? What if you could have a single driver across multiple products? What if you could do remote management? What if you could do simple support, one telephone call, or even do self-dispatch yourself? Would that make your life much easier? How could we also deploy? Again, as we become to this more remote working or working from home and the challenges that gives us, how can we deploy products to people perhaps who haven't had a laptop in the past, perhaps have been office-based but now forced into a home environment? How do we get them online? How do we get them to work with the correct applications? And how do we support them remotely without having to bring them into an office which could be 200 or 300 miles away, which is really important. And then, how happy are your employees? Employees, really to some extent are your customers. How happy are they with what they have? Does the device that they have actually give them the tools or the ability to achieve the goals that they've been set by the organization? Because if you're limiting their opportunity to work, or if you're preventing them having access to tools and applications that are going to make them more productive, are they going to stay with the organization, or are they going to leave and go somewhere else? And we do see technology drive a lot of decision making in regards to where people work or where people stay. And then from an optimization perspective, it's how quick can we make people work? Wouldn't it be nice if you could walk up to your laptop and it recognizes that it's you and opens up and presents the screen for you so you don't have to put a password in? Or wouldn't it be great to be able to switch from working indoors to working outdoors and not have to worry about the security implications of doing so? So what we want to do really is bridge the IT experience gap. And it's really important that we try and put the employee first, because at the end of the day, if you put the employee first, they become more productive and the customer benefits or the company benefits. So it's really important that we empower users to be able to go out and do what they have to do. By giving the customer and the end user employee that particular device or the device that they need, and streamlining process in regards to support and warranty, what it does from an IT team perspective, it releases time for you. You don't then have to be always reactive. You can become more proactive. You can look at perhaps other projects that you need to undertake, whether it's server infrastructure, cabling, not particularly maybe client focused, but projects that maybe you haven't got time to get round to because you've always been managing the bespoke estate on the client side. So focus on the employee, build it out in regards to what those individual needs are, and have a wraparound service in regards to IT support and installation deliverables. And what you then get is a really cohesive way to deliver the right product to the right person to get the right performance. So if you look at the actual workforce transformation, it's going to continually evolve. COVID-19, I said earlier, has driven that much quicker than we'd expected. But if you think about how we now work or how we need to work in the future, we have to work smarter. And an example that I've used on many calls recently is Dell ourselves. We have over 140,000 employees across the world. We started our transformation about 5 or 6 years ago. We have lots of people working from home. We have lots of people traveling across countries, across continents. We have some really unique requirements for some of our employees as well. And what we've seen with the COVID-19 is that we seamlessly transitioned 140,000 employees almost overnight to home-based working. Now, that's some task. If you just think about the logistics of even having logins, being able to manage the amount of people trying to access data remotely, that's quite scary. But we did that because we'd already been down the path of the right size fit, the right size per person, and making sure that people had the right access logins and security. And what that allowed us to do was during the pandemic was to deliver 5 times the demand that we normally get. So the demand that we had for products and services to support customers transitioning to a more home working environment increased by 5 times. And we were able to actually manage that and deliver that across Q1 and Q2. Something that we probably couldn't have done 5 or 6 years ago if we hadn't gone this journey ourselves. So it's really important that we think about how we can help you take the first steps to really protect yourself as we move through 2020 and beyond. So what we see is this workplace shift, and it's really in effect a 3-step process. So the first thing that people often look at, and it's the right way to do this, is the hardware. So what hardware can I give to an employee that makes them more productive? If I'm a mobile person, if I'm out 5 days a week, I don't really want to have a heavy device. What I want to have is a nice light device. It's a device that I can consume and create data on. It's a device that I know is secure regardless of where I'm working. And it's a device that gives me, a lightweight feel, but also extended battery life, because I don't want to have to carry cables and accessories all the time and make my backpack heavy. So getting that hardware centric piece right per user is really important. The second part is the service. How can we help you manage that infrastructure? How can we make sure that we don't exceed your cost expectations? So if you think about the way that we used to do this, which would be, I need 100 laptops, for example, I'm going to buy that particular model across the estate. What you tend to find is that you over provision. So that 100 laptop specification might be ideal for 60 or 50% of those 100 people. But then for the other people, it could be either overspec'd or underspec'd. So actually, by taking a step back and aligning the right product to the right people, you can save costs on some models, maybe increase cost on other models, but your overall budget isn't impacted. And what that gives you is a much better rounded deliverable for your users and customers. And also standardizing on services. You want to be able to provide a support mechanism to your users, customers, no matter where they are, whether that's UK based or whether that's EMEA or worldwide. So if you have a failure today, if it's in a laptop, if it's in, let's say, the Servium office in Warrington, we can manage that for you next business day. You may be like me, a remote worker in a remote location. We'll come to your home address and we'll fix that for you as well. You may be about to board a plane, your laptop fails, you're going to Barcelona, you can book a warranty call and we'll fix it in Barcelona for you tomorrow. So having that service-centric view, again, make sure that we have the optimum performance and support for users. And really the goal is to really help users get to this employee-centric piece, which really is a way that you can get into driving cost out by having standard applications, standard catalogs for the user group, automation of applications in the way that they are delivered to either your user or your customer. Something that we're seeing a lot now is, from an IT team perspective, the guys and girls there have a really hard time. So you've always been measured in regards to the cost, so the budget that you have and how you spend that budget on a yearly basis is managed. You are measured against how you spend that and what you deliver. What is now happening is you are now seeing people measured in regards to their user experience. So what we see, and we do it ourselves at Dell, is that if I have an issue or if I request a new laptop, once that issue has been resolved or my new laptop has arrived, I get a survey and I have to put there what I thought or how I thought the IT team delivered that for me. So not only now are you being managed on how you actually manage the budget, you are now being managed on the user expectations, and users can be quite difficult. So if we're not careful, if you think about security threats, manageability, the actual perception of the user using that device, we can, if we don't manage the personas correctly, get into a point where there's tension between the user experience and the budget you're having to manage. So it's really key that we look at how we support people. To get onto that step, to get onto defining personas and making personas work for you, it's really key that we understand these experiences. So as an organization, as an IT team, do you know what is needed by each employee role? Do you know their work style characteristics, where they work, where they travel, some of the unique demands they may have? Are you sure the device that you're giving them actually meets their needs and delivers the productivity that is demanded by them? Have you done any profiles or categorization of applications? Do you roll out applications per department or the way people work? And do you measure what happens? Do you measure the experience? So do you ask the workforce how you have delivered, how you have performed? So the persona piece is really important, and as I said before, I'm doing lots of calls every week with customers about personas and trying to help them get onto this particular ladder and really help you in the transition. If we take an example on the next slide, this is making it very simplistic. So in effect, a persona, it is a fictitious user, but what you want to try and do is group users by that persona. So taking 4 examples here, what you have is a clinical worker. So they're in their office, they require some perhaps high compute performance, but also they may want to do a little bit of walking around the business. So they may go from meeting room to meeting room to present or to consume data. So that particular application, their particular requirement will be completely different to a field worker, somebody who perhaps needs something more rugged and durable. A great example we have there is that we have a very large telecoms company in the UK who have given their mobile workforce, the engineers who go up the poles, a rugged tablet. What that allows them to do now is to drop it in the van, throw it in a field, drop it in a puddle, and it's not going to break. They don't get any breakages. The other key thing is they've taken GPS. So now their maps are on the laptop. So rather than using a physical paper map and trying to guess where the issue is on a cable underground, with GPS, they can precisely get to the point they need to go to in a field or a road and make the right call on where they dig up that cable. So it makes them far more productive and get the jobs done much quicker. Again, on the Go Pro, they don't want a big laptop. They want to have something that is more tailored to themselves, high security, high battery performance, but also easy access to applications and data. And again, if you think about the on-the-go Pro, so I'm classed in my role as an on-the-go Pro, this pretty much sums up the type of technology or the type of way that I work. And this certainly is different to somebody who maybe is more office-based. So again, each persona that we can get into will allow you to drill down and understand those particular unique parts of what people need. And as I said before, it's all about giving you, the IT team, the tools to deliver to your end user customers the right device that works for them. And again, by having the persona, it allows you to make a really easy decision in regards to onboarding people and the way that they have that device delivered. And it gives them that personal experience. So if you are onboarding somebody who is a remote employee, you know exactly what model they're going to have, you know exactly what application it's going to have, and you know exactly how it's going to be delivered. And the nice thing as well by having something like this is actually you can then start to drill down from a budget perspective and align a budget per persona. So you may know that an on-the-go Pro, their whole package might be, let's say, £1,000, but the desk-based person, their overall package could be £500. So when it comes to planning, when it comes to looking at expansion or looking at how you then perhaps deliver new technology to groups of people, it gives you a very clear path and a very clear picture of the potential costs that you will be getting into to deliver that kind of transformation. And then when you look at how you actually optimize this, as you rationalize down to what we feel is the right personas, we think between 5 and 15 is about right. Generally, I see around about 8 or 9 tends to be the sort of the sweet spot for most of my customers. The reason for that is if you go down to too few, again, you get into that one size fits all, and you're probably over provisioning on technology and basically applying more cost than probably necessary. If you go to too many, then obviously you've got too many models and it's very hard and difficult to manage. So having it just right between 5 and 15 will allow you to be more agile. This slide is both good and bad, if I'm being honest with you. It's really a pictorial view of the end-to-end solutions that Dell have that we then can align across the different workers. So we actually have 7 personas ourselves in Dell, and we do try and say to customers, if you look at a 7 persona metric, it's quite a safe way to do that. So you've got the desk-centric person, you've got a corridor warrior, that's somebody who's based in the office generally, but does go from meeting to meeting. You've got somebody who travels as the on-the-go Pro. You've got a remote worker who is somebody who is literally just sat at home. It could be a help desk, it could be a marketeer. And then you've got your specialized areas. So that's your creative people, your engineers, and your field workers. If you then look at the Dell range, we have a product and we have a range of products and ecosystems that then can apply to each of those particular personas. And again, we can work with you in aligning the right products and the best fit product for your users. So with the intelligent solutions, what we want to try and do is allow you to work whenever, wherever, and however you are. So whether you are, as we are today, mostly back at home, as we transition and come out of COVID-19, how can we make you work smarter and work better? How can we help you transition to a new way of what we class as normal working? What we want to do and what we want to deliver to you and your customers is to make you always ready, give you the immersive productivity and allow you to work together and collaborate. Just really one sort of final slide or a couple of final slides, just to give you an example. We've worked with a UK insurance provider. They're also across multi-continent as well. They had lots of issues and were losing lots of staff in regards to not having a great IT infrastructure. And when you lose staff, it's costly because you have to then reappoint new staff, you have to go back into training, and it's not great for the business. So they had lots of business needs, and what we tried to do was look at the key reasons for those issues. We have gone back and established some solutions for them, and we've proposed a number of changes both to the way they operate but also to the infrastructure that they use. And we now have some real good benefits that we're seeing for them as they move forward. So they now have a handle on the budget that they expect to spend every year. They are now deploying a much better fit product to the users, and the feedback from the end user, which is the important piece for them, is they're more satisfied with the device that they've got, and it's more aligned to the job that they have to do. So the expectation now is that their retention rates will become much higher, and we can reduce costs from the business for them. So working with Dell and working with Servium, what we want to try and give you is a personalized employee experience. We want to give you improved experience for the user. We want to give them the right way to work with the right technology. We want to help you align the right resource and services to supporting that. We want to make sure that if you're working with Servium and Dell, that we give you the right optimization technology. We provide a device that is not only fit for purpose in 2020, but also moving through to 21, 22, and 23. And then we also want to really help you simplify that consumption of the resource, whether that's provisioning, whether that is the to-desk delivery, or whether it's just really helping you with warranty and support. We can do that for you across the UK. So the call to action that Steve and I have really is please engage with Servium. Please think about your persona. I'm happy to engage individually with yourselves and start on a quick start persona. What that will help you do is start to understand the key challenges that you perhaps have. It will start to help you plot out the personas that you would need to deliver in the organization, and it would also deliver you some recommendations on the type of products and services that we can assist you with through Servium to help you do that. So please reach out, please talk to your account manager, please talk to Steve and myself, and we're here to help. Over to you, Steve.
That's great. Thanks, Rob. And the workforce persona quick start that Rob talked about there, if you are interested in engaging with us, that will be delivered sort of virtually via a Zoom meeting with with ourselves and Rob and colleagues at Dell. So collaboratively, we will deliver that through Zoom. If you'd like to take that offer, then just highlight that in the poll that'll be there at the end. So Thanks, Rob. That's good, and quite an interesting approach to this whole sort of persona journey that you alluded to in the presentation. It's quite a different and unique approach to things. So what I'll do now is put Rob on the spot and open the floor up for questions. As you know, I like to put our presenters on the spot. So Rob, here we go. We've got some questions coming through. So from Paul around the sort of flexible workspace, what are some of the main business benefits I can realise by creating a modern sort of flexible workspace?
Okay, so I suppose the key ones here are making people more productive. So at the end of the day, your employees are the face of your company. If they are more productive, that is a benefit and a cost benefit to the organization. So certainly allowing them to have access to the device or the applications that they need to deliver better results is a real key factor to businesses surviving. It's the whole marketplace has changed, and again with COVID-19 that has changed it as well, and we're going to see some real challenges. So I think the customers who can work more agile and provide the better service are going to survive. I think those who don't will struggle. So certainly by giving people that type of opportunity is a benefit, and also retention of staff. We said it before, it's costly employing people, and you don't want to have to keep on going through that re-employment phase and losing good staff that invested good money into train. So keeping people happy, keeping your staff again is a real cost benefit.
Yeah, and particularly now with the challenges, so many people working from home, it's even more difficult for IT professionals, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Rob. A question from John. My business recently invested in some new client devices in response to the COVID-19. What sort of services are available from a Dell perspective, trade in any existing old technology, that sort of thing? Okay,
so absolutely, as part of any proposal through Servium, we can look at taking product back and doing trade-ins. Again, it's also different horses for courses. What we tend to also find sometimes is people may have invested in some technology that might be applicable for one user, but they could also redeploy in the company as well. So where we can't redeploy, where we can't use assets, then yes, we can use that as a buyback.
Okay, good, thank you. And a question here from Paul in relation to sort of rolling out workforce persona. If we want to go ahead with a quick start, what sort of outputs will he receive?
So from the initial, so from the initial outset, what you get, and I've done about 5 or so in the last 6 or 7 weeks. So you'll get a report that will detail your users, the type of persona that they sit in. It will detail the applications and their key requirements that they have on a day-to-day basis, and then over a line that it will then also give you some recommendations of products and services that we feel would benefit that particular user. So it will allow you as a first start to sit there as a IT manager, IT director, and look across the workforce, understanding where your employees sit and the potential costs that they will also incur the business.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, that's it. Rob, you take you out of the spotlight now. So thanks very much for that.
No problem.
So
thank you.
So just for the benefit of everyone who's watching today, we have in conjunction with Dell developed a white paper all around the flexible connected workspace. So there'll be a follow-up email sent to everyone later on today, which will have a recording of the video and also a link to download that white paper, which will go into a lot more detail than we've been able to do in sort of 25 minutes or so today. So details of that will be sent on the email. I encourage you to download. That's some really interesting insights in there. Okay, so that's the questions. Rob, thank you very much. I'm going to launch the poll now before we go to the sort of prize draw. I'm going to launch the poll just to get feedback from everyone, which is really important that we formulate our INOOTs moving forward and we get feedback from you. So I'd really appreciate if you could just take the time while I summarise. Any feedback would be good. Further questions, just drop an email, get in touch with account manager, or you can send them into inoot@servium.com. So Rob, thank you very much. It was really good insight. Thanks for the time you've taken today. It's been really useful, so thanks, Rob. So just while you complete the poll, that's a wrap really for season 3. So before I go the prize draw, I'd just like to sort of summarise where what we've achieved. We've done 10 INOOTs over the last sort of 4 months. COVID-19 hasn't stopped us. We've had over 200 attendees, including today. So really, again, as customers, we thank you for taking the time to attend. We kicked off back in February. It was a security bake-off, Office 365 versus Microsoft 365. And since then, we've covered a wide range of topical, diverse subjects, addressing the sort of challenges that you're facing. There's been a big focus on remote working. What's the new normal, business unusual, as we call it, that's caused by the challenges of COVID-19. But a lot of the formulation for our INOOT webinars was based on the customer survey that we did at the start of February. So that's why I've included things like security, backup, and also telephony. So we've had concluding today. I think the other thing for us, we've introduced what we call the bingo bango prize draw, just to mix it up a bit and make it a little bit more interesting as well. So thank you once again for everyone for taking the time to join us today, and I trust you all found it beneficial. We will be back in September because we're going to summer break now. It is the school holidays, believe it or not. We're season 4, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But in the meantime, thank you everyone. Have a fantastic and healthy summer.